GM. This is Paradigm Live, your weekly place to catch up on everything CyberBrokers. I'm Mike Carterell, your friendly leftover and community manager.
And I'm Brianna. You might know me as Lady Diamond Hand. I help with lore, marketing, operations here at CyberBrokers.
And it's the final week of version beta missions.
I know. We have, our kind of closeout week, but this is the real last week where everyone will be hanging out together. And I think we've got a good one planned for our finale, if you so have it.
Yep, and experience is the key word, right?
Yes, exactly. This is more than a mission. It was a whole experience. So I'm excited to dive into that today on Paradigm Live.
So let's hop in. For those who don't know, let's briefly cover what CyberBrokers is.
Yes. So here at CyberBrokers, we're a metaverse-native media and entertainment company, and we're working on building an entire universe. It's called the Paradigm Lost through our beautiful collectibles, our content, and our interactive experiences like version beta missions, like very specifically the mission for this week. So I'm excited to bring that to life.
So if you don't know about us, check out our website, cyberbrokers.com. Amazing, award-winning. You'll get lost in it for hours. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, CyberBrokers with an underscore. And we have two collections, CyberBrokers from last year and Genesis Mechs from this year.
Mm-hmm.
The agendas, we got a little more this week.
Yes. A little filled out.
So we're going to quickly touch on events, and we're going to cover version beta missions, but then we've got a couple of other things too.
Yeah, some exciting stuff. We have some guests here, so should be good.
And we've got a finale party to announce as well, the Genesis Mech Runway Rave. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Can you say that?
Runway Rave, yes.
No, you got to say the whole thing from the beginning.
Yes, Genesis Mech Runway Rave.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's tough to say.
Yeah, I can't say that 3 times fast.
Okay, events this week, normal office hours, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Central on Tuesdays. Any questions about CyberBrokers, version beta missions, the community fund, whatever, pop in. Merck and I are always there. We have our regular Wednesday game night at 8 p.m. Central, where you can usually chase Josie around and try to kill her in Among Us. That is always fun. We have weekly metaverse field trips. Check out our Discord for more of those as they get posted. Let's do a very brief review of missions. We're getting really fast at this now.
Yes. So if you are new here, there is still time to play version beta missions. So the idea is in the Paradigm Lost, which is the fictional digital metaverse universe that our story takes place in. A new version has been initiated, version beta, and there's all these different factions who have different ideals on how to explore and conquer these new lands. So you're going to get to pick your faction. We have the Shepherds of Saleya, the Not a Cult faction. We have the Winter Circle, your typical high score chasers, gamers. And then we have the Wayfair Bureau. So they were initiated by the newly elected council of the Paradigm, and they're looking to kind of harness these worlds for a new age of prosperity. So different vibes. You get to meet other people from Web3 who are all hanging out. We have Discord channels for each, so that's really fun. And then it is 8 weeks. We're in week 7, like we said. This is the last week of the missions. And then we'll have a finale week next week to complete everything by July 31st. And the idea is you complete all those levels, you get rewards. You can start now, even though we're in week 7, you can still start today. And as long as you complete everything by July 31st, you're good to go.
So we're going to skip through this quick. This is the new version of quests. There's a bunch of changes based upon feedback from the community. You can start up at any time, can catch up at any time. There's lots of individual tasks, and then there's faction competitions, kind of mixed. 14 collab collections can play. It does require a Discord account, a Twitter account, and you to token verify. And we do support Delegate Cash because we're big fans of Delegate Cash. Keep your assets safe. And there will be rewards. We promise that you will like them.
Yes. this will be a good week, let's just say.
Yes.
Good finale last week.
Okay, so let's hop right into it. Oh, sorry, we're doing this first.
Yes. So, like we said, this is our last week of missions, but we're calling it almost like our catch-up week. So next week there will be no missions, but you'll have a whole extra week to complete any last-minute missions you didn't get done. And to celebrate, we're having a finale party. So it's our runway rave. It'll be hosted in our Genesis Mech showroom in Mona. We're super excited. If you've seen our world in Mona, it's beautiful. It's amazing. So we're going to have a whole runway where you can walk down in your mech. Josie will be there to kick things off, kind of, give some commentary on everyone's mechs. There'll be a giveaway. There'll be music. It'll be really fun. You do not have had to play version beta missions to come in, so you can bring your friends. If you just want to learn more about the community, pop in, hear some music, look at some cool 3D assets.
So for those who own mechs, make sure to start trying them on and figure out like key commands to make poses. Because as you're going down the runway, you're going to want to look good. And for those who don't have mechs, this room is full of 50 different mechs. So you can just click and try one on right inside the room.
Yes. So it should be really fun. Excited to see everyone decked out in their mechs there. And yeah, just a fun way, to kind of say goodbye to version beta missions, hang out, and kind of like a summer party too. So we're really excited for this.
Yes. Okay. Now we are ready for level 6, the final level, and Inkwell. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about what we see on the mission board this week.
Yes. So there's only 2 missions this week, which sounds simple, but as we know with the paradigm and missions, not everything is as they seem. So if you played last week, we figured out that we have to head to the Sanctum of the Celestial. It is here that the veiled volumes are hidden. So if you followed along in missions, the veiled volumes, they're this kind of where information that can be found nowhere else in the paradigm is found. And the idea is you're going to have to find these veiled volumes. And the reason you and your faction are searching for these is to find more information on this mysterious virus. So
virus. Uh-oh, we're using the word now. What's going on with that?
So, the Shepherds have been in the know about this for a while, but as all the other factions have kind of dug through the beta world, there's been some weird things happening, some anomalies. So, now everyone's trying to kind of dig into this because the beta worlds they have some issues. If you've been playing version beta missions, you've seen there's some glitches in the code and things are going wrong. If you've read our stories, again, there's stuff going on. So everyone's searching for answers, and the veiled volumes are, again, information you cannot find anywhere else in the paradigm. So this is the perfect place to start looking for this information. So everyone's gonna have to start digging around, and that is the mission for this week. It should be really fun.
Sounds simple, but yet
again, nothing is as it seems in the paradigm.
Yes. So I really want to talk about this picture. So everyone's seen this picture, mm-hmm. And could you tell us, how are we using AI to bring the lore to life?
Yes. So lore is obviously very important to CyberBrokers. We're building a whole universe here. So obviously we created these beta worlds. We've created Inkwell. The idea behind Inkwell, there's all these different, interconnected libraries of knowledge. So after kind of creating all these little areas, I think AI is an amazing tool to kind of start visualizing those things and bringing them to life. So this image, we've been using a lot of base images from AI as really great starting points and inspiration points. And there's even images that we didn't use in these, but that serve to help, bring this world to just life on paper. So yeah, this image was
the vibe. It
it brings the vibe, and it helps with the writing. It helps with the videos we put out. It just, it gives a really good full picture. So it's a really awesome tool. So this one, the base this was a pretty well done image. We cleaned up the sky, and then the two little planets with the words like were kind of added to, again, this idea of like we had to have the knowledge manifesting in different ways, but like that big center globe, like this beautiful lighting, the arches, like this was all AI generated, which is really really cool. To have the words get brought to life into the picture.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So, and this, I want to talk about this because, CyberBrokers is creating some of the core lore. What's the word for that? I forget the word now. Canon.
Oh yes, canon.
So, we're creating the canon of the lore, and in the process, you're using AI to help decide vibe of, how the lore should look.
Mhm.
And then this single image was the basis of world creation.
Mhm.
And so keep that in mind when you experience the Inkwell world today. Keep this image in mind, because this is where it started with, is a single image, right?
Or even words, honestly, which is
Yeah.
easy, like a few sentences, as like, we're jotting down, okay, so like this is what this, zone will look like, and then it, transforms into this, and then you can expand on it. So
Yeah, but it's also a great tool because when you're working with like 3D designers, words are one thing, but
mhm.
giving them pictures and saying, I want it to look like this, is much easier.
Yes, and I think that's what's a cool part about this is if you're a writer or someone like who works a lot with words, like this is an awesome tool to, again, take that image in your brain and put it down into a picture, which does help when you're working with like artists who think visually as opposed to like using written word.
Yeah, perfect. So keep this in mind as you experience Inkwell for the first time today, because I think you'll be a little blown away by that.
Mhm.
Okay, let's get into the deets. So this is a faction competition week,
Mhm.
and there is still an opportunity for changes in the faction rankings. Um, I know the rankings exist in a certain state, but there's two possibilities of changes that could occur this week. Um, as you mentioned earlier, there's only one mission in the Bracer. It has a link to a Hyperfy world. The instructions for the game are in the world. You need to solve what's in the world and then use the answer back in the Bracer.
Mhm.
First faction to solve in the Bracer wins, just like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Little note, you do not need to set your mech or your broker in your Bracer this week. So you don't need to use that function at all.
Mhm. Yes, you're not in the Bracer this week, really.
Yes.
So should be fun.
Yep, the Bracer is just the gate for seeing where to go and completing the puzzle. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about connecting wallets. So you do not need to connect a wallet to this world to experience it. Okay, you will get default brokers and mechs. The instructions will tell you which. Okay, and you can experience certain things with those assets. Okay, at the same time, to access many of the puzzles, you will need to connect a wallet to TokenGate. That will allow you to use the brokers and the mechs in your wallet, plus the defaults. And Delegate Cash is supported for the game. So a good example is if you connect, like I've got a hot wallet and a cold wallet, and they're delegated. If I connect to the game with a hot wallet, okay, I'll be able to token gate with any brokers and mechs I own. Okay. The one catch is Hyperfy doesn't support delegate for VRMs yet. So you won't see your VRM files in their UI. You can still upload your VRMs or use the URLs. And there are 2 mechs in world you can equip right there. So just click and equip. So make sure to, if you see you're in a default, avatar and the entranceway, make sure to click one of your mechs so you like get into the spirit of things, right?
Yes.
Okay. The other technical thing we want to cover is public versus private worlds. Okay. So when you enter Hyperfi world, it's public. Okay. Anyone that hops in with you can see what you're doing. In a faction competition, you probably don't want that, right? So I wanted to give an example here. So when you connect, you'll see usually it ends up with a tilde and some weird code at the end. If you're seeing the tilde, you are in a public world, and you probably don't want to be there. We're giving this information to factions so they can figure out how to deal with it. So factions can create private worlds. Okay. All you do is put a slash and a secret phrase after the world name, and that will create a private world that if only people that know that can get in there. So the faction should have a conversation quickly after this call, pick their secret word, make sure their faction members know their secret word, and then you can experience it all together, right? Isn't that the cool part?
Yeah, I think being in this world with your faction, like trying to uncover these secrets, I think will be really fun. So yeah, I get screen record ready too, because I think there'll be some cool things you might find hidden around here that you might be like, oh, what is this? What could this be?
Yes. This one is going to, we've said it before, organization, attention to detail, and coordination. All three again are going to be required. I want to know, I know there's been some people sharing information amongst factions. Happens, right? In this case, with these private faction worlds, we'd ask to not do that. So spies are strongly discouraged to speak and frankly considered rude. So stick to your faction, solve your puzzle. You'll find that, again, even if you had information from spying, it won't help because you haven't figured out how to do something. So it's irrelevant. Okay, we are not going to say much more.
I'm just excited to see everyone hop in and send your pictures, send videos in. And like we said, this version beta has been so amazing. I know we've had a great time with it, and it's again all about momentum. So this is the finale, so expect that this will be one of the harder missions. And yeah, we're just excited to have you jump in.
Yeah, I was really torn today. I wanted to provide, I was starting to prep some like pictures and some videos, and I was like, you know what? I don't think we want to spoil a surprise, right?
No, and again, I'm excited to see everyone else's pictures and videos and what you guys find hidden there. So I think this will be a good. I'm excited.
Yep. Oh, and so 2 notes. I will be in my Fizzy avatar. So just a reminder, while I am a part of a faction, I really don't do anything with that faction unless asked, like, a specific task, like do this. So if you see me in world, I'm just making sure everything's okay. I'm answering questions. I'm not really participating. But you may see me as the Fizzy, so you'll know who I am. The last comment is these are beta worlds, right? So not everything's perfect. If you get stuck somewhere or like in a wall and can't move or something glitches, the reload button on the browser works perfectly to fix your glitches. Okay. I think, is that the last slide? I think that's the last slide for beta missions.
Yeah, that's it for beta missions. We have another fun thing to talk about. We have guests.
Yes. So let's move. Oh yeah, and of course, have fun. Let's move into that. Let's bring up Sarah from Mona. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Hey, thank you very much for this opportunity. Good to be speaking to you.
Awesome. Want to give us a brief intro on Mona and yourself?
Yeah, so Mona is a 3D world building platform. We operate as metaverse, and for you guys, obviously, we've held a few activations and will do going forward. But essentially, we're a place that you can go and immerse yourself, go and explore, and create stunning worlds. You'll notice from our, I guess, UI and experience, you can see beautifully stunning worlds in there, as opposed to the voxely worlds of 2-bit worlds like the Sandbox and Decentraland. So yeah, that's
very high quality.
Yeah, definitely. And so I lead marketing at Mona, and today we're talking about Mona Shorts Fest. So Mona Shorts Fest is our creator and builder competition to celebrate all things storytelling. So it's probably worth going into the why, just to give it context. We started noticing a deeper level of conversation about avatar narratives and lore was starting to happen within our industry, as well as on our platform. And we wanted to celebrate the storytellers that have been creating music videos. We've got VFX artists starting to create scenes and staging just in browser, and we wanted to unpack this, and a few signals led us to initiate and launch Mona Shorts Festival. So what it is a competition where any storyteller, so this isn't for the experienced, this is for anyone, to create a film shot in Mona. That could be minimum of 2 minutes or maximum of 5, so very short format, and you can create a miniature masterpiece that tells a story. And the prizes are $3,000 for categories such as sci-fi, which obviously leans well into the mech lore, and CyberBrokers lore. We've got a category for anime, a category for comedy, obviously, that being a key genre, and we've got a category for experimental, which means anything. We didn't want to have horror in there.
Completely different, yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically any submission that's not in the above categories. And you can build from an existing world. You don't need to ask permission. So we've got a series of backdrops that lean into those genres on our inspiration boards, or you can build your own new world. But essentially, you have until the 17th of August to submit a short film. And specifically for this community, we're giving extra credit for the use of our partners. So if you have a story that you'd like to tell with a mech or a cyber broker, you will get extra credit, automatically extra credit. And just to give you a sense of quality and premium storytelling, I guess for us, this isn't just a very tactical promotion that we're doing to get a load of content right. We really care about storytelling on our platform. Therefore, we have gathered the greatest jury members to judge this. This is completely independent. This is not our team judging it. It's completely independent, and we've got an epic set of jurors lined up. So we've got people from Netflix. So we've got an Emmy award-winning director, animator from Netflix. We've got directors and cinematographers from Unity that have created Cine Machine and Cinecast. We've got Charles Hayde, the TV actor and film director known for Altered States and a lot of the ER shows. We've got Whoopi, designer at Netflix. So we've got a multidisciplinary award-winning jury members that will see your work. And therefore, we expect the quality to be insane. And then in terms of, I guess, the the judging criteria, we're looking for a great story, which my niece tells me can be told with two dolls looking at each other, as simply as that, and having a conversation. Yep. So we want to break the challenge down. We have got a series of workshops. So next, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll keep you posted on the date. We are holding a workshop on how to film in Mona. and tips and tricks of how best to do that, i.e. removing the names above heads. That happens when you're filming and you see avatar names and things like that.
Yep.
And setting your screen dimensions and placement across actors and avatars moving across screens and so on. So we've got workshops to help you get there. But I believe we have the trailer coming up.
And
yeah.
What excited us about this when you first told us about this was a few things. Well, the first is we're storytellers, so we have a community full of people that love to tell stories. And as you said, stories fuel experiences. So, what you're offering is the workshops to help the storytellers figure out how to do this, and then you're enticing them with prizes, and a submission process. And the other thing I think you touched on that I thought was interesting was, this is a little bit of a crossover into traditional media, because this isn't just, we're creating 3D worlds and you go play in them. They can easily be backdrops for real world recordings and, media, which would come in at a lot lower cost than trying to do something like a real shoot in the real world, right?
Yeah, you touch on something really interesting there in terms of what we're doing in the metaverse. So yeah, we're in there to play and immerse and explore and learn. But to a certain degree, we are in there to just imagine what could be. So, just hearing about, your missions and the stories on the factions, and there's lots of opportunity that we'd love to get some submissions from this community. And we've got our own Discord channel set up for this. If you've got any questions, we're happy to answer them. But we might play the trailer now.
Sure. Okay.
Which you might pays homage to another film, but let's just play it.
Yeah, let's do this here. I love this trailer.
Who is it?
Now, almost everything I saw in there was like an existing world. I think I've been to almost all of those worlds, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They are all worlds you can build in. And we've got, if you head to our website, we've got a load of links for worlds that lean into sci-fi or anime, or we think that are fairly comedic, that could play well if you had a comedy skit. But essentially, story is everything and lore is everything, right? And, us talking for 2 minutes is a story, right? It's not that engaging as a streaming show or anything but like that. But essentially, we want to break the challenge down. So it could be a monologue. It could be as simple as someone speaking to camera, delivering an epic monologue. ChatGPT is your friend, so we've got extra credit for if you credit the AI as well, because obviously we won't know if you've used it, but we're happy to hear scripts, inclusions from ChatGPT. If you're a runway ML fan, in terms of creating images and so on, we'd love to hear from the creators that they've used AI. We're giving extra credit for that. And then I guess the other thing to mention is that 80% of the duration of your short film should be shot in Mona, but we're allowing the other 20% to be ported in from Blender or Unity or Cine Machine or Cinema 4D, to allow for extra elements and I guess a cinematography that leans into where our current product is, and supports that. So yeah, that's essentially it. And then if you scroll forward a couple of slides, there's an image of Hollywood in 2050. So we've obviously got the submission process open now, but essentially, another slide, I think, another one. That's too small. This one. Once our esteemed jury panel, review the films, we're showcasing the 5 winners at a world premiere in our world, and it's going to be it'll be an event in a new location and new space that Ryan from our studios team, who helped build the CyberBrokers space, is building. It's going to have a 2050 vibe to it. We're playing with whether the screen should actually be square or not, and shapes and themes that push us forward.
Follow traditional or create something.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be interactivity. There's going to be a complete red carpet where we expect there to be a best dressed competition. So come and join us. If you're not interested in submitting a movie or a film, come and join us on the red carpet. There's going to be lots. And we're going to hopefully get permission to show a few metaverse films in that 5-day festival. So How We Met in VR and a few of the other amazing strides that have been made in metaverse cinematography. We've got permission to showcase the Nouns trailer and hopefully any next update from the Nouns movie that is coming out. So yeah, we're going to be hosting panels also from TV and film. Hopefully some of our jury members will spare the time for that, and you'll be able to be inspired by people that have created on the bigger screen, so to speak. But yeah, that's essentially it. We'd love to see some submissions from you all. We can get into the criteria, but essentially, recapping, it's a film 2 to 5 minutes. 80% should be shot in Mona, so screen recording from Mona, and we've got a workshop, tips and tricks for that. You do have to have permission, so obviously CCO, if you are, or you're using your own mech, if you're not CCO. And equally, like our trailer, we didn't actually use Keanu Reeves's VO there. That was a direct copy from one of our teams. So we do have to have permission to show third-party content. So just be mindful of that as our terms.
Let's frame this a little for CyberBrokers. So I think from hearing what you've been talking about when you told us last week, this first and foremost is a learning opportunity for holders. A, learn more about Mona. B, learn more about how to do things in Mona. And 3, learn about the concepts of piecing together a story into a final product. So you're providing workshops throughout the weeks to take someone from, how do I create an idea? How do I, turn that into, a script? How do I turn that into real world, shots in Mona? How do I do camera angles? All those things you're running classes for, right?
Absolutely. And it all starts with a synopsis, really. We did our logline workshop last week, which is still available online for you to watch as well on demand. But essentially, a logline is a synopsis of a story. It attracts the audience and basically gets the audience psyched about what they're about to see. And we, as part of that workshop, use CyberBrokers in our prompt for ChatGPT. And one of the first log lines that came out was in the year of 2050, CyberBrokers, a benevolent race of AI transformers, must unite with DJ Lux, their courageous leader, to thwart the maniacal plans of Mike, an evil human mastermind set on world domination. So you can see ChatGPT is your friend if you don't know where to start on a short film. And then in terms of the next aspects, we are intending to show the best parts of Mona through our workshops, how to film in Mona, all the tips and tricks of camera angles. And then finally, you know, monetization is really important. It's why we exist. It's what fuels us. You know, all your spaces, if you do create a new one, can be minted, and you can get secondary royalties from that. And that's really important to us, and that's what fuels us. So we are doing a couple of workshops on monetizing as well. So we're doing a workshop on a movie poster and the actual trailer itself. So taking your 2-minute short down to what a 15-second trailer could be. So yeah, that's a snapshot. But we love to see some entries from you all. And if you've got any questions, jump back on our Discord, Mona Shorts Fest, and ask away.
So following up with that, so there's the classes, you know, and they're live each week as they come out, but you can always on demand go back and watch and run through them. So CyberBrokers, you know, lots of creatives with ideas. You have 3D assets to use, you know, plenty of mechs to draw from for avatars. There's plenty of 3D creators in the space, you know, that could help with creating custom items, you know, for your sets and everything. And there's a world of Mona spaces that you could like place things in, including the CyberBrokers space created by Mona, the mech dressing room. Infinite possibilities. I think the key is just start, right? So show up to one of these events, you know, start listening, and then your ideas will start noodling on, oh, I could do this. And Brianna, that's kind of how we do it, right? It's just about starting. You know, you just got to show up, and the ideas will start flowing. Any comments on that, Brianna?
Yeah, I think this is cool, like you said, because I think this series of, you know, tutorials or workshops is just cool. I think one thing that makes CyberBrokers community so great is I think we have a lot of really creative people, a lot of people who are just like interested in learning new things about this space. Like we have really curious community members. So I think this is just another cool thing to like try out, have fun, you know, learn more about, you know, filming in the 3D world and like all this stuff. So, and again, I think we're always just looking for avenues for people to tell their own lore specifically for CyberBrokers. And this is another really cool way for you to tell it. And again, we're super excited to be partnering with Mona, and I'm sure like we're going to watch every single submission that has a CyberBrokers mech. So, I mean, who's to say like you submit something and we don't say, let's officially make this canon, like let's put this in a story, let's add this character. So we're just really excited to see everyone, you know, have a chance to tell their own lore for CyberBrokers.
You touched on a really important theme there, actually, which is I forgot to mention that you can submit as an individual, but you can team up as well. So if there are some of you that are like love a good yarn and love a good story, more so on the script writing, all over ChatGPT, you know, and you want to team up with someone that's more of a, you know, like creates in Canva. It loves an Instagram reel. Like it doesn't have to be a 3D world builder. Mona's so simple that you can import 3D objects and into a space and change it up. But equally, like I say, a story could be as simple as 2 mechs in the existing space having a chat with an amazing dialogue. We've heard of people also considering, you know, getting those audio files from AI performers and so on. So we're expecting the quality of this to be fairly high. So yeah, like as we say, it's as simple as getting started. So What's your story?
Exactly. What's your story? We kind of went out of sequence on slides. Do you want to back up?
Yeah, my bad. You can go to the next slide, which is, I think, where to find out more. The other part is a scroll through the website, which I'm sure that anyone can do.
Okay.
But essentially, our website is metaverse.com/events/shortsfest. It's also pinned to the top of our Twitter at the moment. We've got one workshop happening on Wednesday. I forgot to add this, my bad, which is all about reels. So creating your first reel in Mona. We'll share those details with the team here for a retweet. And then we've got one coming up, which is designed to be how to film a monologue in Mona. So that will talk about positioning one avatar in Mona, placement, delivery, editing, and so on.
Yeah, how to make it look good. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But essentially, I think the judging criteria is set and split. That like story and narrative is as important as what the scene looks like. Is as important as the backstory behind an avatar. And we've got a couple of small prizes for the best performing avatar, which is a bit similar to how the Oscars identified best performing actor and actress, and the same with support, best visual effects, and so on. And then the workshops that lead up all have a mini challenge. So creating a log line was last week's mini challenge. And there's prizes between $100 and $300 for those. So you are getting the opportunity to fund some of your time as you go if you're involved in the mini challenges as well.
Yeah. You answered the one big question, which was the individuals versus the teams, because I think, like you said, pulling some people together with different skills would be really useful for this one.
Absolutely. And I think, to the aspect of, if we think about production, Brianna, in our world, it's someone that's a bit project managey to make sure that you deliver on time and don't spend that week prior or the night prior editing your movie. I think there's a role for every type of individual to club together on a task, and someone that's got a visual eye. So, the other aspect of it is if you do have a couple of avatars speaking, who's going to deliver the audio and the voiceover. So you might need to have an accent from a certain place, or you might want to use a video voice changer if you want to do it that way. But essentially, you're welcome to use the plethora of free third-party tools out there to help you deliver your task.
So let's wrap up with some call to actions. First, go check out Mona Twitter and make sure you follow so you get up to speed on everything. Second is check out the workshops. So go to the metaverse.com website, check out the workshops, and go dive in. There's a couple up there already, and just dive in and take a look, and it'll start sparking ideas. Questions in Monaverse Discord, and then for CyberBrokers who are interested, our holder area chat. Maybe there's a bunch of you that want to team up to work on something.
Thanks, Mark. It's like you're on our marketing team also.
Well, I mean, it's fun. That's we're all about fun activities. This world needs to be engaging and fun. That's the whole point of being here in my mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, Brianna, anything else we need before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Thank you for joining us. And again, we're really excited to be partnering with Mona again on our runway rave. So that's next week. So another chance to hang out in Mona in our beautiful world. So and we're excited for this. So
Sarah, thank you so much, and thank Mona. The worlds and the visions you're creating are just amazing, and anything we can do to experience those, we're in for.
Awesome. I've seen a brief on. Well, I've seen a first version of the trailer for the rave party, so we're excited to get that over to you soon. So it's going to be fun. But thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And with that, Paradigm Live is done. Mission people, live in 15 minutes.
Yep.
Go get ready.
See you
Have a
then.
great day, everyone. Bye.